Sup humans, how's it going? I'm back. So I'm just going to put out another video now as soon as I can. Obviously, if you haven't already read the title of the video because you're a blind idiot, then we're doing Demoman weapons. So I'm just going to get on with it because I don't want this video to drag on like it did last time, and I'll try my best not to swear a lot, but no guarantees. Okay, anyway, let's just get on with it. So the first Demoman primary weapon is called the Belligerent Blaster. So this is a very unique grenade launcher. Well, I don't know about unique, but we'll see. It basically shoots out a missile-shaped grenade that travels like a soldier rocket. So it is basically a rocket launcher for demo. The grenade explodes on contact the same way it would as a rocket, but when it explodes it also causes more mini grenades to fly out and explode around the impact zone. So similar to the county cluster weapon that I made for soldier in my soldier video, it's it causes extra explosions. And also, the grenade can be detonated early, so this thing also has a detonator effect. It is literally a detonator rocket launcher for demo. That's basically what this is. It has a plus 50% projectile speed, minus 30% self damage, so that means you can rocket jump better, and of course, this is important because the extra explosions will do more damage to you, so, you're going to need some self damage reduction. Because I wanted this to be like an effective rocket jumper for demo, just to see how that works. And it has a special effect on alt fire. You can aim down the sights to shoot the grenade with 100% projectile speed, 30% extra damage and 50% less damage fall off, at the cost of losing the mini grenades, 50% less movement speed and decreasing the firing speed by 50%. So you can effectively aim down like a sniper with this weapon. So you improve the rocket's accuracy and damage, but you lose the extra explosions, and you also, become less mobile while you're doing it. You also get less DPS with it as well. So it also has a plus 25% reload speed, which, to be honest, now that I think about it, I don't know why I added this stat, but I'm just going to leave it there. So that's basically the idea of this weapon. It's literally like a sniper rocket launcher detonator for demo. It's got a lot of extra stats. The downsides, it's only really got two downsides, which means that it could be a bit too much. Like the grenade, like the upsides might have too much over the downsides, but well, let's just go with it. So basically the downsides are a minus 25% firing speed and minus 20% damage. The extra damage you gain on alt fire counteracts the damage penalty, so effectively when you do aim down the sights you're doing 10% more damage than you would be than the normal grenade launcher. But when you're not aiming down sights you do 20% less damage than a normal grenade launcher. This is just to make sure that the grenade launcher doesn't fucking one-shot people at any range, with the mini explosions as well. So, this weapon is meant to help Demo sort of fight against longer ranged opponents, because he's always had a problem fighting against ranged people, unless he's using the fucking lock and load, but we don't talk about that weapon. I just think it would be a good way for him to add like an extra option of pestering snipers as well. But the downside of it being slightly less powerful in close range combat, because of the fact that you kind of have to aim the rockets, you actually have to aim it like a rocket launcher in a way, like a more accurate rocket launcher. And of course the less firing speed means that you don't have a huge amount of DPS with it, it's purely for burst damage, really. So let's get on with the pros and cons. It has high range damage, which is important because that's the whole point of this weapon. It requires some level of skill, which I put as a good side because demo needs it. Like, I get that the lock and load is possible for this kind of thing, but in all honesty the lock and load, if you're able to hit pills with the lock and load you might as well use the grenade launcher. Because, grenade launcher is way fucking better. And it also provides Demoman with increased mobility because of the extra, explosions, meaning you get more pushback and also the less self-damage. So, this weapon is basically a rocket launcher for demo. The cons, less damage on direct hits, that's important. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage like the grenade launcher does, unless you manage to hit all of the extra explosions as well. And it punishes missed shots with decreased firing speed, because obviously this weapon is literally like a sniper rocket launcher. So if you miss your shots, you're going to get punished a little bit more because of the lower firing speed. And it also has no rollers, it's an important part obviously, so that means you can't spam it around a corner and hope to deal some damage to people that walk over them. So this weapon does require you to kind of turn the corner like a soldier would and actually aim down on the same way that a soldier would basically. So this is literally just a rocket launcher for a soldier that acts like a detonator and a sniper rifle at the same time. Pretty much all you need to know. So let's get on with the next weapon. I call this one Little Spammy. Oh dear. Alright, let's just get on with it. Basically this is a sticky spammer. Yeah, I said that. That wasn't a typo or anything, I meant sticky spammer. This weapon is designed for sticky spamming. Okay, yeah, just... Alright, give me a break. Okay, so when you fire, it shoots out 3 stickies instead of 1 in a wide sort of cone-like shape in front of Demo. So you shoot like 1 sticky right straight ahead in front of you like you normally would, and then the other 2 sort of go outwards to your sides like your right and left. So it's like you can't be completely accurate with all 3 stickies, you know, they go out in a sort of area. It also has minus 0.5 second arm time, so you can detonate the stickies a lot earlier. It has plus 30% firing and reload speed. Hear me out. And it also has minus 50% self damage per sticky. That's important because obviously, if you're going to be able to rocket jump with all 3 stickies, you're going to want to, you're going to kill yourself if you do that normally. So I wanted to make sure that even though you do still take more damage because it's 3 stickies instead of 1, you don't kill yourself in one shot. Like you don't kill yourself in 1 sticky. Plus, obviously, 3 stickies means you can fucking fly across the map. So, you know, that's really good. And it also has plus 2 clip size. Yeah, I know. But it also, just one thing to point out, it still takes up 1 ammo per shot regardless of the amount of stickies. So, plus 2 clip size means it has 10 shots in the clip, which means overall you can shoot 30 stickies per clip. Which sounds fucking crazy, I know, but hear me out, I'm getting to the downsides now. It has minus 75% damage per sticky, and if the stickies have travelled through the air for more than 1.5 seconds, they immediately detonate. This is important because I don't want this weapon to be able to hit people at long range. This weapon is not meant to be a ranged, like a very long range weapon. It's meant to be similarly to the grenade launcher, where it can only really work at short to medium range. But it's more short range than medium range, that's for sure. Because it also has a minus 25% projectile speed, and it also has minus 15% explosion radius, because that's important since, you know, it's 3 stickies at a time, which means that, you know, it has a lot of area denial, but I didn't want it to be too much. So this weapon doesn't do nearly as much damage as the normal sticky launcher, but it can do a lot of DPS because of the fact that it fires much faster, it arms the stickies much faster, and it shoots out 3 stickies in one go. And it's generally meant to be like a kind of area-based sticky spammer, like it's meant to work in dealing with multiple targets at a time, and it's much better at close range, what with it being much faster and, you know, exploding much quicker. So let's get on with the pros and cons. Pros, it's great at close range combat, that's important. It's able to fight people at close range, which is a problem with the other sticky launchers that Demo has. Like, maybe not so much the Quickie Bomb launcher, but basically his main problem is he can't exactly fight people in very close range because the stickies take ages to arm, and of course, you know, people can just get away from the sticky if they're close enough to him, and you know, if he shoots it on the ground, he's going to end up hurting himself as well. But it has strong area denial, which is important again because it's 3 stickies and it's, you know, it's able to do much damage in a wide area, and it has great DPS and mobility. So yeah, it helps Demoman with his DPS, but not so much his burst damage, and it also does make him more mobile. You know, 3 sticky jumps, like, I mean, not 3 sticky jumps, but like 3 stickies per jump. That's much more than you can usually do. Like you can't even do that with a sticky jumper. So yeah, like you'd need medic overheal or something to be able to do like a triple sticky jump. So there you go. And the cons, you know, it's unable to work at longer ranges, important for the 1.5 second instant detonate, because the whole point of this weapon is you can use it as a sticky trapper as well, like you can plant stickies on walls and floors and all that, but, you know, if you're trying to hit people at long range with it, the sticky's going to have to go through the air for a certain amount of time, and if it goes through the air for more than 1.5 seconds, it detonates. So, obviously, it's not meant to be able to hit people at long range. That's the main point of this weapon. And it deals less burst damage overall, so like, it's good at dealing damage constantly, it's not good at dealing very good high damage in one go, because it does much less damage overall than the normal sticky launcher. So this weapon is meant to be able to, like, you know, take at least a few shots to kill most people. Might only take like 2 for a scout, but still. But of course, remember that each damage, like each sticky has its own, you know, has 75% less damage. And of course, there might be times where you're not going to always hit all 3 stickies on someone, so you're going to be doing a lot less damage if you're just hitting 1 sticky per person. So you got to keep that in mind. If you want to deal as much damage as possible to people with 1 shot, you got to try and make sure that they walk into all 3 of your stickies. Like maybe plant them on the floor in front of you so that they're closer together, or on a wall, you know, something like that. Or if they're all grouped up on the payload cart or the point, then you'll have an easier time there too. And it enables sticky spamming. Yeah. I don't know why I thought sticky spamming should be enabled. That's just a terrible, terrible idea. But I just figured this would be an alternative. Like, it could be a decent, fun weapon to fight against and fight with because of the fact that it doesn't deal nearly as much damage as the normal sticky launcher does when it's sticky spamming. But it's also not, like, punishing, like, to Demo. Like, it doesn't have slower firing speed, slower reload speed, slower arm time, all that stuff. Like, this weapon is meant to be able to deal damage very quickly, but not very much in overall, that sort of thing. And it's still punishable because if enemies like keep their distance, you know, you're not going to be able to do much of them there. So snipers and, you know, other classes like soldiers, you know, they're going to have an easier time. So this weapon is not meant to be a long range weapon. It's meant to be a sticky spammer, and it can work with sticky traps, but it's, you know, like I said, it's more about the DPS and not the burst damage. Alright, let's go straight into the melee weapon. Alright, this one I've sort of done a bit of a pun with. Right, hear me out. It's called the Scrumptious Cocktail. yeah, it's a scrumpy. But anyway, so on primary fire, apply afterburn on hit to enemy and self. I should mention, this is a Molotov cocktail. Yeah, that's what this weapon is. For those of you who don't know what a Molotov cocktail, here's an image. So the bottle will smash after hitting, being unable to apply more afterburn, and it recharges in 15 seconds. So it's effectively like a caber, except it recharges, so it's better than a caber. And you apply afterburn to yourself as well, which is another thing to remember. But you can apply afterburn to the enemy you hit as well, so that's the important part. On alt fire, you can throw the bottle like a projectile, similar to Geratia milk, and when it lands, it explodes fire all around the impact zone, dealing 50 damage and applying afterburn to all enemies and self. So yeah, you got to remember that if you shoot this thing close to you, it will hurt you as well. You got to be careful. So it's very much similar to the Cowmangler's charge shot, where you can hurt yourself with the charge shot with the afterburn if you're not careful. And it recharges in 15 seconds, the same as the smash thing does. It deals 75 damage on direct hit and applies bleed along with afterburn for 5 seconds. So if you manage to hit someone with the bottle itself, it not only applies afterburn as well, but it also applies bleed, which is important. If the bottle is already smashed, it has 25% increased projectile speed, but will not apply afterburn. That's the important part, because I'll get to the smash part in a minute. But basically, when you hit someone with the primary fire, it smashes the bottle, changing the way it works. So, yeah, 25% increased projectile speed, but will not apply afterburn. Instead, it will shatter everywhere, causing bleed instead. So, it deals less damage overall if it's smashed, but it still does something. And it deals 30 damage on 50 damage on direct hit, so, you know, it deals less damage overall, but it applies bleed instead of afterburn, and it has much more speed, like you can shoot it further away. And if the bottle is smashed, when you're like trying to hit someone like melee based, if it's smashed, it deals 25% less damage, but will apply bleed instead. And if the bottle is not smashed, it deals 25% more damage. So that's the important part. This thing can do more or less damage depending on the situation. So basically, yeah, it's a Molotov cocktail for Demo that allows him to, you know, work with fire and also bleeding. You know, it gives him multiple debuffs, which is pretty interesting. So let's get on with the downsides. It has a minus 30% swing speed, which is important because it's literally a weapon that you can apply afterburn and bleed to someone with. So, you know, you don't want to be able to do too much damage with this thing because you're already applying two other types of damage with it. It has minus 50% deploy speed, just like the Caber does. Except I think the Caber's deploy speed is even stronger, so it's not quite as bad. And one other little gimmick that this weapon has is that if Demo taunts with this bottle, he applies afterburn or bleed to himself. So that's important to remember. So you can use this as a way of, you know, helping your medic build Uber probably, but at the same time you're going to hurt yourself quite a bit if you don't have a medic or health pack anywhere near you. So be careful when you taunt with this weapon, but that's like a little gimmick that this weapon has. You know, you hurt yourself on your taunt, but it could, like I said, it could be good for helping medic build his Uber. That's the good side to this bit. So on the pros, the extra source of range damage it has is good because it, you know, it's literally a projectile like a Geratia milk, but it deals damage. It applies multiple debuffs, afterburn and bleed, which are both very powerful after debuffs, and it has great last resort damage in close combat. So it's similar to the Caber. You would use it in like a situation where you think you're not going to be able to get out and you're going to die, so you might as well do something to finish yourself off with, and maybe get an enemy kill as well. This weapon has a similar sort of concept because, you know, you're applying afterburn and bleed to the enemy, but you're also applying it to yourself. So you can effectively get like a quick, easy kill, like with someone on by applying the extra damage and afterburn and all that, but at the cost of you dying in the process. Similar to the Caber, where you deal all that extra explosion damage, but you end up blowing yourself up as well. So yeah, effectively this is an alternate version of the Caber, which should also be much better because it applies debuffs and it recharges like the Caber should do, but I don't know why they don't do that. But anyway, so the cons. It can be hurtful to the user, which is what I've already said like multiple times. It can be slow to wield. It's difficult to you know, wield as a proper melee weapon. You got to rely on that one single hit in order to deal everything you need. And it does have high risk, obviously, because you're throwing that bottle and then it causes like an area explosion of fire or bleeding. so you got to be careful where you throw it in case you don't want to get too close to your own explosion. And of course you got to be careful with who you damage with the melee hit as well, because if you're going to hit a heavy or something, you're just dead, because he'll survive all the afterburn damage and all the bleed damage, and if he has a medic, you're fucked. So yeah, that's basically this weapon. Like I said, I wanted to make this video much quicker because the other video would take way too fucking long. And I'm going to try and do the same for most of my other weapon videos. I'm just going to get the information out there and go. That's basically what I want to do. But also I will point out any other things that need pointing out. But yeah, that's basically it. Next video I'm going to do Demoknight, so that one should also come fairly soon. I've already got the weapon idea concepts for them, so I'll try and get the video for that out as soon as possible. But right now it's just a demo. So yeah, after Demoknight it'll go into heavy, and then like the process of elimination, it'll go to all the classes. So yeah, that's Demoman. Next up, Demoknight, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry I'm quick and quiet with this one, but like I said, I just want to make these videos. I still do want to do some Smite stuff, but I haven't figured out what I want to do for Smite just yet. Like I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So while I'm thinking about that, I'll just do TF2 videos in the meantime. TF2 videos are sort of my fallback option at the moment. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you like my ideas. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the Demoknight TF2 weapon video. See you around.